Well, alrighty then. How does it feel to have flesh? Ooh. Kind of a sign of rebellion. Okay, there's a few things going on here. One, they have the defective birthing pod that supposedly created Fixer. So Healer intentionally removed that and kept it. So they have a birthing pod. They can create people on their own. We're also on a train. So the resistance is on the secret train. The one that Watcher probably knew existed, but maybe didn't. They have no record of this train, which made the confessions not line up, but we don't know if that's because they were hiding it. If Watcher was hiding it and removing and not allowing in the confession, or if she just genuinely doesn't know that's where they're hiding.
Easy on your feet there. We don't need another patient aboard.
You sat next to me the whole time?
BB did.
It's very kind of her.
Don't flatter yourself, honey. We didn't know what you'd be like. Terrorist and all.
They said you were incinerated.
I might as well be. I haven't stepped off this train for who knows how long. I've lost track. What did they get me for? Too many puns?
They said you were running dangerous experiments.
Well, that part is true.
I know. What's outside?
The view. Can't you tell?
Not so great.
You're right. I've seen better.
Are we going somewhere?
Finally waking up, are we?
I wanted to burn it all down.
You got what you wanted. Happy?
I'll be back.
I don't doubt it. Nowhere to go here except back and forth. Back and forth.
I do wonder how the image of the blindfolded Watcher got out. I guess they know that the eyes are gone. So I guess Nowhere in principle must have created the blindfolded Watcher as a martyr. Or not a martyr, but as an example. Even though she wasn't even there. They recreated what had to be true so far. And then she became a martyr to Old Town. But she's actually still alive. Such plentiful guns.
Are you really gonna follow me around like this?
You don't like it?
Did I say that out loud?
I've got some new tricks, I promise. And Watcher told me to, so I have to.
Okay then. Good talk.
Thank you.
Secretary's back. It's been so long, actually. It's not a short train. Oh. They have their own chambers now. Oh, is this Watcher? I've never seen Watcher have a chamber before. To the point where I was like, am I not finding it?
Watcher? Is it really you? It's me. Blue. I guess.
I don't sense any activity.
Watcher. Can you hear me? Hello?
What does that mean? There's the one fish. We were told about the two fish with their backs turned to each other defensively. Which was then, we were explained that it's a defensive evolution thing, but then for the majority of the time we've had,
Did you see that?
What are you referring to?
You didn't see anything?
I believe the train is experiencing power fluctuations.
Yeah, from the majority of the time with the fish, one of them has been missing.
Did you and Watcher have a good chat? Surprised you're not sick of each other yet?
So I wonder if they mean no activity as in she's not stirring, or no activity as in like no brain activity. Because that's the upsetting implication.
I don't even recognize her.
Her condition has been critical for a long time now. The drugs they gave her in captivity?
But I was just fine. She was just... fine.
She may be lucid in a communion, but her meat sac is failing her. Every communion drags her system through the ringer.
Then why did she...
Addiction? She's been playing the past over and over, going round and round.
I had no idea.
She needs to be resting. You should be doing the same. You look terrible.
Fixer? I need to see Fixer.
Are you even listening to me? Of course you're not. Who listens to Healer anyways?
Addiction. A companion piece people might want to consider watching is the movie by Catherine Bigelow called Strange Days. Funnily enough, I originally found this because out of curiosity, I was like, Roger Ebert seems interesting. Let's read his review of The Matrix. And in his review of The Matrix, he kind of he tucks down to the movie a little bit, or that's not what I mean really, but like he expresses a positive contrast in other movies when he's reviewing The Matrix. Specifically, he brings up Dark City and Strange Days almost as examples of like more fleshed out sci-fi worlds with more interesting implications, which is interesting. And like a fanboy would get mad at the idea of The Matrix not having supremacy or whatever, but like I've never really had that reaction to things. So immediately I'm just like really curious about Strange Days and Dark City, which are both extremely interesting movies to watch. And Strange Days is a movie that is also about revolution. That's interesting. I wonder if the developers of this game watched Strange Days actually. It's one of those like gritty near future sci-fi-ish settings that are always common, but this movie came out in like the 90s, I think. And it's very much a response to police violence, like a series of news stories that were already happening back then about black men dying in police custody or during arrests and so on, those kinds of police violence cases. But it's also about a serial killer. And it's also about this system, this is where the direct connection happens, of being able to record memories as experiences you can replay, almost like a VR type of thing. In this case, it's because it's the kind of retrofuturist, silly, old sci-fi things. They're essentially recording memories to cassette tapes. You wear this headset during the memory and it records the memory, and then you can wear the headset to experience the memory. Be it your own memories again, or other people's memories that are distributed on this media. The serial killer is killing people while forcing them to wear the thing, and then distributing people's dying experiences as fucked up tapes and so on. The protagonist is a dealer who deals in these tapes and tries to satisfy people's wants and so on, essentially like a drug dealer, with like various levels of legitimacy to the types of things that he trades, although he specifically has a policy against the ones where people die. So he's not distributing for the serial killer or anything. It's like Angela Bassett and the protagonist both team up to actually try to go after the killer and all that. But specifically, the protagonist struggles to let go of his old relationships that he's moved on from, relationships that have ended. There's a musician that he used to be in a relationship with, and there's an asymmetry in their interactions where she's much more moved on and he kind of acts like they're still in a relationship, and it's because he keeps replaying these memories over and over again that she doesn't, and so he keeps kind of reopening the wounds or keeps re-experiencing these things like they're still happening. And so his nostalgia, his attachments to the past itself were framed as a damaging addiction in a way that is kind of happening here with Watcher. It's a bit of an upsetting context for Watcher, because Watcher's obviously been deeply fucked up by everything, and she's going through trying to find meaning in all this, because in her case, it was her literal function. So there's a struggle to let go of people just trying to find meaning in their functions, the way that, like, I mean, Healer's not healing. She's still here doing her kind of role and so on. And so, like, it makes sense that she'd be obsessed with that, with the communions, trying to find her purpose and trying to figure out what to do that would lead to being able to find an answer that could fix everything, and that everything's kind of unfixable because, unfortunately, and then this enables the addiction to some extent, but like the entire history of all these generations of people have been cycles of recreating experiences. One of the things that I find interesting is that Iris never experienced Hong Kong, but she's recreating a lot of the same systems in the world that she created, even though none of these people specifically lived there. Like, the communion, if anything, might be a problem, which is interesting, because, like, you would think that generational empathy would be good, and there obviously are good things. This game resists the idea of there ever being clear good guys and bad guys, or clear good and bad ideas and factors exclusively. Like, right now it feels like there's a clear villain, but it's always kind of felt like that, and those people have changed, and the people that were the clear villains, the victims earlier, are the current villains, and so on, and that keeps looping. The communion is the only way that a lot of this stuff would have reached later generations, and the specificity of the form that it did is that it was able to pass on these experiences that could have been discontinuous. Iris's mother fled Hong Kong to protect, maybe not to protect her because she wasn't conceived yet, but in practice she was protecting her from what she had to go through, and I don't think she ever necessarily told her about a lot of that stuff, and kept it and tried to not expose her to the stuff that they had to flee from. But with the communion, it has generationally persisted, and Iris, once she was separated, probably wanted to find this connection with her mother that she could never see again once she had the power of communion from the occupants. And that's how she would have these specific memories. She shared with us a memory of Hong Kong that I don't think she ever had. I don't know if Iris ever visited any part of China in her life. I believe she was born in Canada. I think that's what was going on there. It's complicated. It's a lot to piece together. But she would be obsessing over the past at some point with this power, and it's kind of this kind of generational connection is sort of corrupting things. But like, there's no easy answers here, because like, frankly, the bartender and other people like that were clinging to the past and remembering that now isn't forever, were the good guys in Old Town. Like, in Old Town, you sympathize with the people who remember what things were like 10 years ago. Not because 10 years ago was perfect or good necessarily under the ALLMOTHER, but because there are cruelties and injustices in the new system that would benefit from you believing were forever. But they're taking advantage of the limits of human memory and the much harsher limits of generational memory to make you think that this is the way things are, and they have a vested interest in destroying the past and people who remember what things used to be like, so that they can further cement this as the permanent status quo. So like, I don't have clear answers here. The idea of good and bad doesn't really apply to any concept or person, and if you try to apply it, you will be necessarily ignoring something that makes the conclusion dishonest. So like, on one hand, the past can be a nostalgic addiction that corrupts the future and brings the bad things forward, but at other times, if you don't remember the past, you're surrendering the ability to remember that the world wasn't like this. And there's a lot of elements like that. Like, there's just to going from smartphones to engagement rings to deodorant to to the internet to many rituals surrounding heteronormativity, the idea of straightness, a lot of racist institutions and so on. A lot of things that we do in society are younger than we believe that they are. Sometimes way younger than we believe they are. Like, a lot of things feel like they're big generational experiences. Everyone's always like, oh, this was my grandmother's ring. But those generations were much less likely to have a great-grandmother's ring because there wasn't one. Because that's how old the tradition was. So many traditions, so many aspects of life are not as old as we think they are. And that applies especially to every government. Well, basically every government of every country isn't as old as it feels like it is. It's not as eternal as it feels like it is. It has not only changed considerably in the time it has existed, but its overall age is fewer generations than you would think it was. And that's just a lot to unpack. It's beyond the capacity for the human brain of like what we can hold in our and feel. So we have to know it because we can't feel it. We can't intrinsically believe it based on the observable world. It's the global warming problem, like climate change. Like, there are problems and explanations and understanding of the world that you can only know, and you have to learn and internalize as facts, because the feeling will never save you. You can't feel that climate change is real. You can't feel that vaccines work. You can feel the hesitancy of putting something in your body, and that gap is so much of humanity is trying to reconcile that gap. Because you can't give up your feelings, obviously, for a billion reasons. It's why we exist. It's why we care about anything. It's what often actually can push you to act. The problem is that it's one of the biggest motivators to act, and can make you do righteous things, but can also push you to do much more petty things because the feeling can be more powerful than the knowledge.
You said there'd be no more blood.
Vivi, we don't have time for this. We're already on our way there. They know we're coming.
You tricked me.
We don't always get to choose how it goes, okay?
Fixer, I shot her in the head.
You did what you needed to do.
What you needed me to do. How aim can an arrow from a bow that can't bend?
How aim can an arrow from a bow that can't bend? I think she's saying, like, how can she know what she's doing? How can she make her own choices and have her own agency if she doesn't know what's happening, essentially? And they said, BB, your arm. So I'm assuming that BB had recently lost her arm, or lost her arm in the act of saving Watcher. I noticed her robot leg before. I didn't notice her robot arm before, necessarily. But I'm wondering if she specifically lost her arm during that, or maybe before that. She might have lost her arm and leg when they tried to kill her in the first place, and she just... Watcher was encountering the arm because she couldn't see. Yeah. Touching the mechanics.
What are you even saying?
How about I speak your language? Let the murderers do their murdering. Leave me out of it.
You. Good timing.
How are you alive?
Hey, this is my train. I'm asking the questions. Who do you work for? What do they want?
She always wanted to know how the trains worked and where they take you and how they work. Now she knows. She has her own train, the secret train. The lingering question ever since we saw that there was a second train. But the principal got off the second train, so what is going on with that? It seems like Fixer and everyone didn't want her to kill ALLMOTHER necessarily. So I assume that they didn't give her the train to ALLMOTHER. It seems like Principal might have been in control of the trains instead of ALLMOTHER. They frame it like being called there. They frame it like they're being called there by the ALLMOTHER, but the lack of communication, the asymmetry, leads to all sorts of implications and interpretations there for the individuals. I think Knower came to the conclusion, maybe that she didn't want to see the ALLMOTHER, but I think that she came to the conclusion that the trains weren't run by the ALLMOTHER. And I think the principal runs the trains and was trying to specifically get rid of Knower. I think principal found Knower to be too independent and capable and too aware of what was going on, and was hoping and kept calling the train for her because she wanted Knower to be forever on this side of things and to never come back so that she could get more control. She's ultimately been using Knower more than anyone else, and Knower has been the most helpful on some level, but she's working with Fixer also, so it's messy. But it's like now she might think that Knower's loyal, but Knower's willingness to go so far in her loyalty is what I guess makes her an effective traitor in the long term. If an upsetting one that maybe we don't love having around as a concept. Yeah, I think it's always been in Principal's control.
Chris, she runs a miscellaneous underground network. I wanted to help.
Chris,
You know her?
I told her to wait.
The way the Reds treat us in Old Town, we were done waiting. I was done waiting. I met with the Jows.
The Jows?
They sent the others to me.
They've gone rogue.
The Iris fanatics, they helped. They want to clear the way for a second ALLMOTHER.
Those weirdos? They're involved now?
A sister named Doreen. From your time, I think.
I can't believe she would go around me like this.
I can. All the old sisters are getting picked off one by one. Bartender was shot.
No wonder I haven't heard from her.
You talked?
Not as much as I would have liked.
There was a guard. A white guard. Mauve.
Mauve? That's her name?
Why wouldn't it be? I saw her in the communion. She was there with Watcher in the cell. She wants to incinerate all the sisters from the last generation.
If that's true, Knower's in danger. You're telling me they all helped?
In one way or another.
Shit. I knew something was going on. Why do you think we grabbed you?
They cut you out.
Losers.
How'd you know it was me?
I was following you.
I sent Secretary to do some spying on our friends.
But what have you been doing all this time? Where are we?
I finally figured out these damn trains. We're circling. Never in one place. Always on the move.
What's our plan?
My plan went up in smoke thanks to you. The ministers were going to overthrow Principal. Legitimately.
The Red Guard would never stand for it.
I was working on it.
Things are out of control. I've seen through Watcher's eyes. People need to know the truth.
Things take time, okay? They take careful planning. I don't expect a shell like you to understand that.
Where are we headed?
We're to rendezvous with everyone in 72 hours. They called a meeting. God damn it. Not now.
What happened?
These trains were never meant to run non-stop like this. Something must have... Get out of my way.
Whoops. So they've been running in a circle non-stop in their class commentary story. Like, as if to pierce some snow. Oh, this dead ends. Oh, I got all the way here, though. Am I stuck? So what happened back here? Oh, yeah, she's out there working on it.
No, no, no. It's only a matter of time.
BB, hey. You okay?
Do I know you?
I'm blue.
You seem uncertain about that.
I'm, adjusting.
Long communion ring your sky through the iris of an eye?
Yup, basically. Several definitions of iris, honestly. Ooh, yeah, now we're walking up to people and talking to them like we know them, and we haven't met almost anybody, because we're from Old Town, and almost exclusively Old Town, but we've lived through so many people's experiences that we feel like we know these people.
Something like that.
So you're the mass murderer.
Well... a dull knife is no knife at all.
Why do I know these words?
They are yours. I spent time with you in the communion.
If you are so acquainted with me, then you must know that I don't trust murderers.
That makes two of us. Two murderers who have it out for murderers.
Leave me, will you? There was dire and damage enough before you came along.
Can I, just ask you a question? About Fixer and Watcher?
No.
Damn. Alright. Can I ask you a question about Fixer? What's she gone? Are you helping or hurting Watcher? Because you're probably with Watcher. The background is static now. You can see them.
So mad, but so out of breath. To be honest, it was hard not to laugh.
Well, she's telling stories to her in her coma, isn't she?
You sleep here?
Best that someone is nearby at all times.
What about BB?
Sleeps too soundly.
And Fixer?
Honey, don't play dumb.
You talk to her?
I tell her bedtime stories of the past, seeing as how much she likes that stuff.
Can she hear you? Us?
The monitors don't pick up any response, but you can give it a shot. Maybe you'll be successful, since the two of you have such a bond.
How is she?
Stable. For now.
I think Watcher was trying to share something important with me.
Like what?
Right at the end. Something about that city. The one we left.
City?
You haven't seen it?
I see. Shared all this to a stranger. I was always trying to get her to open up to me, her sister.
Oh. Whoa. That's a lot to process, yeah. Me getting all this experience with her when they don't have that much of a relationship as actual siblings. None of the siblings have had great relationships in any of the generations of the story. But I think that's what abusive parents do.
Watcher. Can you hear me? Inside sunrise, please.
Apologies. This often happens.
A mix as old as sweet as...
Do you want to tell her a story?
Watcher, I think I know why you don't want to wake up, but the train broke down. Fixer needs you right away. You understand? Time is running out. Melody? I think I'll leave her for now. Let her rest.
As you wish.
No one is beyond forgiveness.
Melody. Ooh. That's a callback to like the beginning of the game practically, I think, but I'm trying to remember. Who's Melody? I can't remember who Melody is. I think there was a Melody.
What if we're caught? Do you see what I'm saying?
I'll carry her.
BB, without the meds, the equipment,
I'll carry the equipment.
she's lived too many lifetimes.
Are you giving up on our sister?
Don't do that. Remember what our functions have in common. Both require us to separate our heartbreak from our hand.
Well, this is my hand talking. Try again. You are the queen of experimentation. Try something you haven't tried yet.
You're overstepping.
The sand need only pour once before it knows oblivion.
What sand?
I have failed sisters before. If you will not, I'll do it myself.
And I suppose I just sit around and let you make a mess of the place?
You probably shouldn't.
All right. All right. Let me think. Is there something I haven't thought of? What else? What else?
Healer?
Not now.
I want to help.
Honey, just leave me. Please. You really want to help?
Yes.
Then tell Fixer to get herself over to Watcher.
Are you sure it should be me?
I thought you wanted to help.
Okay, but what about the train?
Tell her she may not have many more chances.
All right.
We were never very good at talking to one another.
Maybe the easier it was, the harder it is when it's broken. There was a time I didn't talk to anyone, even my closest sisters.
And how did you come out of it?
Someone believed in me.
Good for you.
Oh. Isn't Melody her friend from Old Town? I was trying to think, I'm like, when did people have names? And it's like, I had to narrow it down to that, because I'm like, no, the people from the beginning of the game were Zhao and Iris. The mother's name is Clara.
How long have Watcher and Fixer been like this?
When Watcher came back to us, she was in a dire state already. Fixer insisted on giving her an eye. Watcher refused. Fixer pressed on, Watcher retreated, and they cut each other deeply.
What was said?
Don't think that's for you to know.
Does she have someone's eye?
How long have Watcher and Fixer been like this?
When Watcher came back to us,
Oopsie.
she was in a dire state already. Fixer insisted on giving her an eye. Watcher refused. Fixer pressed on, Watcher retreated, and they cut each other deeply.
What was said?
Don't think that's for you to know.
On the cover of the game, Watcher has two different colored eyes, but it's also unclear because she is also crisscrossed by the X of the 1000xRESIST bit. The X of it is across her body, and you can see part of her face appears to be Principal and part of her face appears to be Iris. It's unclear at the glance if Watcher has two different colored eyes or if that is somebody else's eye. But she might get somebody's eye. I think one eye is blue and one eye is gold, if I remember correctly.
You were hurt.
Skirmishes on the tracks. If you're looking for stories of bloody battle, you should move along, sister.
You knew the Minister of Defense?
She was a pupil of mine.
I remember.
If you saw it all, then why ask?
Wish me luck.
Might need more than that with Fixer.
You're funny, Bang Bang Fire.
I was. Once.
I was one. Oh, I found a little false spot again. Hit. No. It's interesting that there's a falling animation, because I don't know if the game lets you fall on purpose ever. Like, hop down off a ledge.
A mess. Everything is a mess.
What is all this stuff?
Pieces for a backup pantograph. Bits for a secondary suspension. This train needs a whole teardown and rebuild by hand. We can't be sitting still like this.
Do the others help you?
Do you really expect BB to have the precision? Or Healer to have the grit? Machines don't consider your feelings. They'll tell you you're wrong every time. That's their best quality.
I just came back from her room. Watcher's not doing so great.
What's changed? She's always been so moody. Always trying to get attention by saying nothing. I don't have time for her antics.
Healer says there isn't much time left.
She's always so dramatic. I've got work to do. We're stuck, and who's going to get us unstuck, huh?
I think she really means it.
All right, little messenger. Tell her this for me. fuck off.
What happened to you on the other side? Is that why you're like this? Is that why you can't face Watcher?
I'd be careful if I were you.
Fixer.
What did I say? Fuck off.
Fixer.
No.
What did I say? Fuck off.
Struggles of communication. There's so much distance. They're being literal with their presentation. They're being literal with their figurative presentation. There's a huge physical gap to cross between them, and that's how they're doing it. Where Snowpiercer used the length of the train to signify class stratification, they're using it here to physically separate the sisters, despite the irony, the almost humorous irony of them all being trapped in such a small space together.